All right, well, Happy New Year. It is January 1st, and I'm going to get started on a little project today that I've been wanting to work on, just because every time I come here, there's leaves, and I got to do cleanup, and it's part of my mouse issue, but I'm going to show you. This is my little cellar area where my furnace resides, and it's just a small little space for my house has a wood burning furnace and a regular furnace, an electric furnace. Also have a heat pump in this house, but I don't come down here and the water heater resides down here. The problem with this space is this door. So you can see, look at the light coming through there. This door has seen better days. I've got wood sitting at the bottom because of the draft that comes in. And mice come in this door. I think this is one of the last ways that mice are getting into my house. Is basically right underneath that. And so it's a little cellar area. It comes out. And what I want to do is I want to remove this door and put like a patch over the top of this. I don't go in and out a lot, so it doesn't have to be super accessible. I just want to cover it. This gets full of leaves and whatnot. So my vision is put two runners down each side and then put another board at a slant. I got to stay below this. So I'll show you kind of easier do this if I kind of walk you through, but can you see that? Oops, let me turn that around. Okay. So I think I'm going to put a runner board here, and then I'll build a wall structure back here. I got to stay below this. That's my vent for my dryer. I'm going to stay right below that, so it won't be too much of a slant. Kind of a short slant, but just enough to let water run off. Runner, wall back there to about here, and then from I think I can build as long as the wall's like here, I should be underneath it. I should be able to go under it. So a short little mini wall, and then the rest of this will be like a door. A traditional cellar door that will swing open over and kind of lean, and I'll have to put some way to lean it. And then in the front, because they built this square, I wish this was built at an angle, this concrete, but it's not. I'll just build a little slide-in door for the front, that you would take out and just set off to the side when you go in. So that's the project at hand. I've got the wood, so I'm going to get set up, and then I'll put this on time lapse and start working on this. Okay, so I got those front two walls built. So you can kind of see how this is. I'll have to tie these together somehow, but they'll get a board like this on top of that as like a deck board all the way across down the sides. And that'll tie them together a lot. I'm going to do those next and just see how that feels. And then, like I said, I'll cut that siding out and slide this up against the house. And then have to rewrap the siding. All this siding is going to come off in the springtime, because I'm going to be putting a window right there into that laundry room. So I'm not super concerned about this being perfect as far as siding goes. I'll probably just cut it, put it in. I don't even know if I'll put J-channel. If I have J-channel, I'll try to put some in there, but it's all coming down in a couple months once I put that window in. So I think the next step is build that wrap and tie that together. And then that'll give me the exact shape and size of this box, at least the top of it. I'm going to do that. Actually, can I do the sides? No, I don't want to do the sides yet, because the sides might wrap all the way down. So we'll leave that go for right now. Yeah, I'll just build that. I'll just build the top. Secure those down. And I probably could secure, once I cut that siding, I can put these back and secure these walls to this baseboard. All right. Build those deck boards next. Okay, so I got that done. So that's the top. I'll do the front a little bit later, and I don't have these screws down. I need to go get the right screws. I brought too short of screws, so I don't want to use the wrong screws there. But it's good enough for now. They're in there. So that should be fine. I think the next thing to do is to cut the siding out so I can push that all the way back against the house. And then eventually, like I said, I'll have to like put some aluminum flashing and stuff in there to keep the water from running down it. And water's going to run through these boards. I'm still debating on how much I'm going to build this kind of like a deck. It's going to allow water to go through. I'm not concerned about that. There's a drain down there. This was been open to the elements for 20 years. And I'm probably still going to end up putting a door down there for security reasons. This isn't going to be my security. So I'm not worried about rain going down in there, as much as I am just trying to keep dirt and leaves out of it. So I'll probably put a little bit of a gap between all of this stuff, just like you would on the normal deck, and just to give it some room for movement. So yeah, I think that's next is cut that siding so I can push this back. Just need to get a real light pen and I guess a grinder, and we'll cut the siding off the best I can and try to keep it as clean as I can. I gotta go see if I got some J channel too. If I have J channel, then I can really do it right. And stick J channel back in there when I slide it all back. So, all right, start looking for that, see what I got. All right, so my phone died, so I didn't get some of this next stuff that I did, but I'll catch you up real quick. So before I decided to build the door, I figured I'd build this front piece. So this is going to be a removable piece, obviously. It's just sitting in there. I'm going to put some handles on it. And so that you'll have to pick up and drag out of the way when you want to open it. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of this design, but I wish they would have poured that concrete at an angle down to there, and then the cellar door could have done all of it. But it was poured square, so I think it'll look fine. When all said and done, it'll look good, which is all I care about. And then it'll be sealed up. And so it just adds an extra step when you want to go in here. But again, I don't really go in here much. I load firewood down the steps, and that's about it. So I'm going to build some handles for this right now. I'm going to ultimately figure out a way to secure that. You can see it's probably have to put some pins or something where you can drop it on a pin. I think it's probably going to be the best way to do it. Yeah, some pins with some bolts or something. I don't know. Something you drop it over and that secures it and keeps it tight. Otherwise, it's just going to sit there and rattle and fall off. I am running out of supplies and running out of daylight. So I'll pick this back up tomorrow. I don't have enough to build the door. I barely had enough to build that thing. So all right, I'm back at it today. I've got all of the wood that I need. And so I'm going to start assembling this door. Right now, the only concern I have is that I picked up a bunch more wood, and I'm realizing that if all that wood is used to create that door, it's going to be very heavy. So I might have to end up doing it in kind of a bifold type setup, but I don't have the hinges to do that right this second. So I only have 2 hinges. And I would need 4. So I'm going to do it as a single door. And then if it's really, really heavy and just unmanageable, I'll just cut it in half and redo it. So not the end. I'm putting everything together with screws so I can just take the screws out and redo it. So I'm going to get to it. My only concern with splitting it in 2 is, let's walk out and look at this, is how I'm going to support it. The front half will obviously lean down on that front door. I guess I'll have to put some sort of support on the back, which is no big deal. Just stick something out the front. Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking it's going to have to be 2. I'm going to have to go get more hinges. It's just too big. It's way too big to do 1. So I'll just build the right side and then mirror it on the left. And I'll have to put something up on that front part to catch it when they fold close. And obviously they'll have to lean against each other. So I think I'll build one side and then build the other tighter to it. And it'll sit on this on the front. So I'm not worried about the front sagging. But I want to make it so it's strong enough that someone could stand on it. So I guess I'll just have to put some big supports up there. Which, again, just a run of 2x4 across there should be enough to support it. So, all right. That'll be the plan. Let's cut it in half. All right, so the way that this is going to go, let's see if I got it, is take this apart again. I don't need to take that apart. I just need to be able to slide this whole thing out here. I don't need to take all the screws out, just the ones that are holding it down. I can just move this whole assembly, or hopefully. Oh, those are kind of in there. Oh, that's all right. I missed a screw there, but that's all right. I didn't really need to take that off. Okay. Okay, so next. So I'm just going to put in maybe one here and one there. And I'm assuming up there that I'm okay because I'm screwed to the house. So I just use two of them here. And that'll really, obviously I'm trying to support the door anyways. It's not really trying to go anywhere. And then I'm going to do one at the end out here in the ends to hold this front piece on. So 3 total, but I only have 4 big ones, I think. So the 4 big ones are going on the top and the small ones. So grab my drill and set up and do that. All right, so did a few more things, nothing very exciting, but I'm getting to the point to put this door on. So kind of show you what I'm doing here. So I have a brace here and a brace there. So this door should hinge up like that, up and over. And then when it comes back down, it'll sit on those and that'll give it support. So that means really the middle is the only thing that's the weakest point, but the ends are good. And I'll obviously put a bunch of cross bracings in this door. I'm going to do that at the end, deciding on how much support I need. I want to try to keep the weight as light as possible while still getting strength. So I don't know if I'll put some angles in there. I'll probably stick a 45 to here and a 45 to there, and then maybe one middle kind of thing. Instead of doing them this way, I think that'll give it the most strength. Come out of each corner with 45s. We'll see how that goes. But the next thing it's going to do is I'm going to put a board on top of this that the hinge hooks to. They're saying, oh, I'm sorry, this is actually, oh shoot, I'm going to have to move my support. This is actually supposed to be up like that. I'm going to have to move my support boards up because it's actually going to be up like that. So, but that's right. At least the supports are holding me right now. And I can just put little spacers in there to hold it where I need it. And then I move the supports at the end. So should be good. Next step is put that board on and then try to figure out how to do the hinges. Or I'm sorry, no, the hinges. I got to do the hinges next. Figure out the hinges and then figure out the cross bracing. So work on these hinges. This is going to take a minute, and then I'll come back and show you what I did, because I think I'm going to have to inset them. If you notice, these hinges are kind of big and fat. They're going to go underneath here in there, and they're that. So I've got to inset them, and I'm not sure if I'm going to inset them in the door. Probably going to inset them into this, so that that's, you know, that's flush with the bottom of the door, and they'll sit in there like that. Because I wanted the door to sit exactly like this when it's got the hinge on it when it's closed. That'll be the tightest. And so, yeah, then that'll look good. And then when I put the deck boards on, I'm going to have to figure out how to make this thing square with the deck boards. It's hard to tell, but it is definitely narrower at the top than back here. So have to do a little fudging with the deck boards once it's all said and done to make them look, you know, because you're going to, when you stand here, you're going to see those lines, and they're not square because it's 2 inches off. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do that. But hinges are next. So, all right, cool. All right, moment of truth. See if this hinge is going to set up right. I always hate hinges, so never know how that's going to work. So that works. Oh, it wants to stay right there. Okay, that's going to put a lot of stress on that hinge. So I'm going to have to put a chain so that it wants to stop right there. I'll have to put like a chain from here to here. So when you throw it up, it stops. But what I want to do next, because that's going to work, I want to put long screws into this. I don't want to use these short screws because this is not hanging from it. It's like hinging from it, truly hinging from it. And it's going to put a lot of stress on it. So I got to get the long screws. I think they're over here. All right, I did find some chain. Ugh. I think I'll start with one, see how this goes, and then go to the second one. So, where do I hook it to? I mean, I'm guessing up in here somewhere, right? It just pulled out like that, and then when it closes, yeah, I've got it long enough. I could honestly do it like that, which would be probably, and then when it closed down, it would hang like that. You can see that. So, boop, to like that. I'm not walking down here when it's closed, so I guess I don't see that as being an issue. I got to figure out how to secure this. I need to bend this and then I have a washer somewhere. Put a washer on this. Let me see if I can bend this. Put a little tension on it. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Okay, I feel a lot better about those hinges now. I like that. So Next step is do a second one of those. The problem is I don't have the wood to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put the top boards on this, you know, put these boards across, make sure that that's going to work. Because if I go back to the store, I want to be able to get just the rest of it. I don't know if you can see that, but I straightened that up. So now that's dead center. Both these are dead center now. So that gap's the same as this gap as far as evenness. This side is actually a touch bigger. Oh no, actually I take it back. They're both the same now. It was a touch bigger, but I made it the same. So both doors will be the identical. And I think I'll just do that same thing. You know, once I get these boards on the top, I'll just put a handle right here and you just pick it up. Boom, like that. That should be perfect. Looks good. Functional. It's not too heavy. You know, I like the chain, actually. I think it looks good. So, all right, I'm going to get to cutting some of these boards and putting some longer boards on the ends. All right, well, I hate it when I screw up. I don't know what I did, but I thought when I trimmed those boards off to make them both centers, I did that. But I think what I did, I made this one center. So this is, I believe this is center. Actually, I think this is the end I screwed up. I think that's center right there. That's what it is. I screwed that up. Okay, that's a relatively easy fix. I got to just replace that board underneath there. That's what I did though. I cut that off. It's supposed to be at that mark and I cut it off 1 2x4 short. So now I'm like, it's not working out. Like this is, you can see that angle there. You know, I'll try to put you at the right angle where you can see it. So, I mean, it's like, it's 1.5 inches off. So, okay, not a big deal. I don't know what I was doing when I did that. I marked this and then I marked it again is what I did. That's what I did. Okay. So I can fix that though. I think I can fix it without doing too much. I just need to take these top boards off for sure. And then just cut a new 2x4 to go in there. So.